Yes, guys, and welcome to the South Shields vs Sunderland match review, where Sunderland have just beat South Shields away from home by 4 goals, 10-0. Now, football is back, as the thumbnail suggests. Well, kind of anyway. It's only pre-season. I'm not going to be going into too much detail, too much depth, because, again, it's only pre-season, and with no disrespect to South Shields, there was just obviously a big gulfing class there, so I don't want to overthink things and get too excited, but equally, I am very excited, because the last time we saw the lads was that poetic, beautiful day at Wembley Stadium, so it was great to see them out there again, and in that beautiful away kit, by the way. I must say, they looked so good in that kit. Absolutely love it. Now, if you're excited to see football back, even if it is just pre-season, do us a favour, hit the like button for me, it'd be massively appreciated. And there's still so many of you guys that are watching, hopefully enjoying the content and not yet subscribed, so if you can do, that'd be massively, massively appreciated. Now, it was a bit of a funny one today, because I was actually all prepped and ready to do 2 separate match reviews and then merge them into one, because we were supposed to be playing Gateshead at lunchtime and then South Shields the 4 o'clock kickoff. We've done this for the last couple of seasons now, and usually we have like a hybrid of the first game, we'll send half of the first team and then mix it with the academy and then do the same with the other game. However, I believe there was issues leading up to the Gateshead game, the lunch time kickoff. It was announced the other day that apparently there was issues with their pitch, so they had to relocate, and it become this massive faff. So essentially we decided that we're going to send exclusively the academy lot, or players who were not really, at least maybe not, sounds a bit harsh, but maybe not as interested in seeing. We sent them all to Gateshead, and it was almost our entire first team, or our first team that are fit and ready to go into this game against South Shields, which was really great to see. I believe the youth team, the academy team that did take on Gateshead, they drew 2-2. I think they did feature the likes of Paveda in there, Matete was there, Abdullah Bar and the like. They were all there, 2-2 that game was. I didn't watch that game because that wasn't streamed, because of course it did get relocated, so everything changed. But I did manage to watch the South Shields game, and there was loads of positives to take, but again, I'm not going to go too ahead of myself. But of course, we did see Habib Diarra make his first appearance in a Sunderland shirt, and he looks like a Rolls Royce of a player. But again, I'm not going to think too much into it. It was just great to see him on the pitch wearing a Sunderland shirt. Before we go into it as well, I will just say I was going to, or at least I pondered and considered making a video about this, but it would have been a 1.5-minute long video. But essentially, a bit of injury news that was announced the other day regarding Sirkin, Agiolesi and O'Nien. So essentially, all those 3 players are going to be missing at least the opening 3 games of the season. Which I think O'Nien semi-expected it anyway, given that he did go down really injured, essentially. I think it was the shoulder injury, or the dislocated shoulder, which has been a recurring, not recurring injury, but he did used to have it, didn't he, in League One, but he used to just pop it in all the time. It looked like it could have been a shoulder or collarbone injury, I'm not too sure, but that needs to be looked at, so we expected him to be out. Agiolesi is a really frustrating one for me, because I really like Agiolesi. However, he is just made of glass, and he collects injuries like Pokemon cards, and this isn't a recurring injury for him, it's a brand new one. Just as he was getting over one injury, he's got a shoulder injury now, which I believe wasn't the issue before anyway, so he's going to be out as well. Which, again, is just frustrating. And I feel sorry for the lad, because like I said, I think he's a very, very good player, but he's just always injured. Now, Sirkin, he has that recurring wrist injury. But the weird thing for me with that is that he played large parts of last season with that wrist strap on, and he seemed to just get on with games, but I don't know whether now, just because it's a summer and he might have an opportunity to have further surgery or whatever, I don't know. But I think just the conspiracy theorist in me is thinking that maybe that's just a thing to put us off the scent, because of course there has been rumours that there are teams interested in him. I don't know, I think I might be overthinking that, but that's just something that I might, a seed that I'm just dropping there, or at least a seed that has been planted in my mind. But yeah, so I thought I'd just let you know that injury news before we go into this little bit of a review, just in case you think, why am I not mentioning this player or that player? They're injured. So anyway, so we went with 2 different teams for each half. The first one was set up in the sort of 4-2-3-1, where I kind of expect us to play in that manner going into the Premier League season, or at least that's the system I believe that we'll see the most of, because that team and that system essentially allows the opposition a lot of possession, which we did at times in that first half against South Shields. And then as soon as that opportunity arises, we break, and clinically as well. And that is exactly what we did in that first half. So we had Pat win that first half. We had Jensen Jones, a left back, who I think looked very good, by the way. He really did impress me. Got stuck in. He was very brave on the ball. A few good touches, linking up well with Mundell at times. So yeah, I was impressed with him. We had Silt and Ballard as centre-backs. Right back Huggins, it was great to see him on the pitch again after his long-term injury. I really rate Huggins. We had Lafay and Diarra in the middle, Brown ahead of them. We had, on one side, we have Tutorov, we had Mundell on the left, and then we had Isidore up top. Now, very, very early doors, and this is what I just thought to myself, football is back, absolutely loving it. Lafay gets the ball in the middle of the pitch, and it's an inch perfect ball in behind for Isidore, and of course, his rapid pace gets onto it. This is like 70 seconds into the game. He opens himself up and just buries it into the bottom right-hand corner to make it 1-0. Now, we made half chances here and there, and like I said, it was very measured in the way that we worked. We allowed South Shield possession, and then we would break at pace, like with like a Mundell on one side. Brown was kind of pushing up alongside Isidore in the press. And what South Shields were doing time and time again, and they're shooting themselves in the foot again and again and again. Fair play for them for attempting to try and play some football, but they were constantly trying to play out from the back, and this is what pisses me off when I see teams who, I give them credit for trying, of course, but it's very similarly to Southampton when they were in the Premier League. Almost every single one of their goals was them trying to play it out from the back. They lose the ball, 1-2, bang, conceded. And that's what they were nearly doing again and again and again. And it just caused sort of like scuffles in the box, scrambles in the box again and again and again. And we didn't manage to take advantage. But Habib Diarra, for me, I know is the player that a lot of people might want to hear the name of from this one. I think he looked fantastic. At first, you might not have seen him too much on the ball, but his off-the-ball work, his work rate, he covered every blade of grass, linking up quite neatly. And I love that tenacity about him as well, because there were a couple of times where maybe a foul didn't go his way up one end, and then he absolutely bolted back and ran the length of the pitch and won it back. And he did that a good couple of times, and I love to see that. He had that aggression. But then Habib Diarra himself, he did get himself an assist. He broke forward down the middle, played in a lovely weighted pass for Mundell, who opens himself up, should I say, to put it into the bottom corner again, very similarly to the Isidore goal. So we went into the break 2-0 to the good, and it was just good to see that. Like I said, it was the measured system. Total contrast to the second half, where it was a 4-4-2, and it felt not totally all-out attack, but a lot more aggressive in the attack. There was a lot more width in us, and a lot more sort of direct running at players. We saw the likes of Neil come in, Triantis and Johnson played at centre-back, so Middlemiss come in, Jones came in, Trey Hume, Mayenda and Abdullahi went up top as well, which was really good to see, by the way. Alexis on the left-hand side, Roberts on the other, and it was a lot more exciting, because of course that sort of style of football from the first half is what we saw a lot of last season, allowing teams possession, and sometimes it isn't easy on the eye, but we're just quite content, because it's not like just because they had loads of possession, they did absolutely nothing with it, because we were so good in our shape, so compact, so structured in our shape, and strict with ourselves, and then break as we can. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. But this 4-4-2, it felt a lot more attacking and aggressive. Roberts looked really, really sharp. Every time he got it on that right-hand side, he kept doing this move, which we know he'll actually do. He cuts on the right-hand side, then he drifts to the middle, then he just keeps on drifting inwards, and then just waits for someone on the left-hand side to make a run in behind and slide him in, and that's exactly what he did. And then Alexis got himself his goal to make it 3-0. Lovely finish. And before that, we had several goal mile scrambles. Mayenda got in behind. It was a good save by the keeper, who had a decent game, to be fair, other than what he did was trying to play it out from the back and lost it several times. But he did make some very, very good saves, so I'll give him that credit. Abdullahi, I think the only thing with him, of course, we haven't seen much of him because he's been injured. Then when he wasn't injured, he did play in the youth team, and he had a spell where he was scoring almost every game, but then I think he got injured again. So this was the first proper time seeing him within the first team, and I think he was a real nuisance, because he's a massive lad. He's a big brick shithouse, as I love to say, and it was really trying to force a goal at times. And the only downfall with that, of course, a lot of strikers do this, strikers instinct, shoot as soon as you possibly can, but there were a handful of times where he might wrestle the ball, he'll have his back to goal, and he'll try and spin and shoot, but he'll have options there. My end is screaming out for it on one side, and Alexis on the other, or Daniel arriving late, and he'd try and force it, which again, you get, it's pre-season, he wants to get a goal under his belt, which he did eventually, right at the end of the game. Ball's played into him, he managed to nick it past the keeper and slides it in, which was very, very nice to see. But yeah, so just, all in all, it was a very, very nice game to see the lads back. We look very, very sharp, and it'll just be interesting to see going forward what our first team, our starting 11, will start to shape up to look like, because like I said, there's two different systems there. How are we going to work it? He still looked really, really sharp and at it. Mayenda, for me, if I'm being totally honest, of course it's only pre-season, but this is what reviews are for. I just say what I see within that game. I'm a massive fan of Mayanda. I think it's class. Opening 10 minutes, he was like nicking it in front of his man and really driving at them from the wide areas and then cutting inside and going for goal and what have you. But then I think he went missing a little bit, and that's when Abdullahi started to dominate, and I think Mayanda just started to fizzle out a little bit, and he got a bit frustrated because then when he did get the ball, he'd either lose or it'd be a heavy touch. Then out of frustration, he was dragging players down, and he did cut a bit of a frustrated figure. But yeah, I think it was actually Mayanda who assisted Abdullahi for the goal, so he obviously did come back into it. I'm just saying what I thought at times watching that game. But yeah, a lot of positives to take from that. A lot of the players look very sharp. Sealt looked decent. I think Triantis looked decent. It'll be interesting to see what we're going to go with, particularly across the back line, because of course we've got so many players to eventually come into this squad with all the new lads that aren't arriving until I think it's the later end of this month. But all in all, it was a really, really nice game to watch. It was great to see the likes of Diarra back as well. Roberts again looking really sharp. I'm going to end up repeating myself. And again, I don't want to look too much into it because it's pre-season and we're playing South Shields again with no disrespect. But yeah, so a really, really nice one. Really, really nice to see how sharp the lads look. Patterson, he looks fit as a fiddle to me. He had a little bit of a shaky moment, a couple of moments with some questionable clearances. But all in all, when you have a look at him, I know a lot of people give him a bit of stick for looking maybe a bit podgy, a little bit overweight. And he looks fit as a fiddle. Looks like he's really worked in it over the summer. He does look fit as a fiddle. Frankie Francis actually almost he kind of put his foot in it a little bit on the commentary where he said that he looks really slim. He's looking really well. And then Gary Bennett said he tried to say that he's fat. He tried to say that he was fat last season, to which Frankie Francis was really trying to wind his neck in and try and really backpedal a little bit. But yeah, all in all, really nice, really positive. Let me know what you guys thought of the game. But if you've enjoyed, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. But for now, away the lads. Keep the faith.